Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Washington Commanders just made a move to make some more cap space, possibly to make another big move, bringing in an edge rusher or someone else. We'll talk about that, plus the player they re-signed. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and that notification bell as well. We're close to 16K subscribers. Let's get there by the draft. It's free. It takes 1 second. And go ahead and comment down below your number one free agency target remaining for the Commanders. So we'll likely have to make an update video for this because this is breaking news, not breaking news, but it just happened. It's not huge news, but the Washington Commanders have restructured a Andrew Wylie contract. So he will be back with the Commanders this year. And, they will, I don't know if they're probably going to save some money with this deal. That's what I'm thinking. And I think it's a solid deal. I know some people don't like Wylie. And his first year here, 2023 was awful. He was really bad. But 2024, I thought he played pretty well. Was it amazing? No. But I thought he played decent and definitely played better than he did in 2023. And I think he's an okay tackle for you at right tackle. You got Laremy Tunsil, so you're feeling a lot better about that left tackle spot, even though Coleman wasn't bad. So you have you have Tunsil left tackle, either Coleman or Wylie at right tackle. They'll decide, but both of those guys have flexibility to play right guard probably right guard for now. I don't think Cosmi's going to be ready, but this is the ideal offensive line. Laremy Tunsil left tackle. We'll go Andrew Wylie left guard, center Tyler Biadasz, right guard Sam Cosmi, and right tackle Brandon Coleman. That's your ideal line. Obviously, Cosmi's probably going to be out. So, that makes it a little bit hard for that to happen. So that means Allegretti goes in probably, unless they sign another guard, or, draft a guy early. And if that's the case, then that changes things up. But, they just have to make a decision, not quick, but somewhat soon, if they want Wylie at guard or Coleman. One of the two are going to have to go in. Both of them have done it in the past. Wylie did really well, in Kansas City, I believe, playing inside. So that's something to watch out for. And then Coleman played tackle last year, only left tackle for them. I don't believe he got any snaps at guard, but in college he played guard, and a lot of draft experts and some teams think he's better suited for guard. So definitely a possibility there for him to move to guard. And we'll keep, looking at Sam Cosmi's injury and seeing when he comes back, and if he's able to come back by the start of the season, which I doubt, because it was, the week of the NFC Championship is when I believe he got his surgery. So, it's very hard to come back, especially as a bigger guy. RG3 came back really quick, and he probably came back too quick, but he was a smaller guy compared to Sam Cosmi. So I don't know. I doubt he comes back for the start of the 2025 season, but I do think it is a good move bringing back Wylie and giving yourself some security. It's not a free agency deal, but he had no guaranteed money on his deal, and they restructure it. So I'm assuming they save some money with the restructure. That's how usually it works. They haven't announced it yet. This is a tweet from R.A. Marov, who is he usually just posts stuff that other reporters are posting, but he does have his own sources, is one of the top NFL accounts out there. So definitely a reliable source, has a lot of sources and friends around the league. He's, friends with Adam Schefter, stuff like that. I'm sure if Adam Schefter had the report, he would have put it out, but I definitely trust this report. The Commanders also, I didn't even talk about it yesterday, they re-signed Marcus Mariota, up to $8 million deal. I think that's a good move. Bringing him back was a good backup for them. Played when he did have to play last year in the Panthers game, dominated, and in the Cowboys game, last game of the season, which, it looked like they would have to win that one. It ended up not, mattering because the Packers lost there at the end to the Bears. Shout out to the Bears. But, that was a clutch game by Mariota, because when Jaden Daniels was in, the offense didn't look that great in that game, and Mariota just dominated. And nothing against Jaden in that game, but just Mariota was really good, and it shows that if Jaden ever does not get, knocked or gets banged up, then I was almost going to say something else. If he gets banged up, then you don't need to, which knock on wood, hopefully doesn't happen, but sorry, I'm in a interesting position here. Just don't have a desk, but still traveling. But then you have someone in Marcus Mariota who can, jump in and perform at a solid level. So that was one re-signing. Didn't make a video about that. McNichols re-signed, Bates re-signed, Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner, Zane Gonzalez. All those guys are back. Michael Walker. And today, the re-signing that they made, which is honestly surprising. I don't love it, but maybe with the full off season, it could be a good move. And sorry, I'm still a little bit sick, but they re-signed KJ Osborne to a 1-year deal. So he was with the Vikings, had some success there, then played with the Patriots, I believe last year, maybe the year before too. Didn't have much success. Then the Commanders signed him, I believe after the trade deadline, and he just didn't play well. He might have had one catch and had some penalties, just wasn't good. But also, you do have to consider it's middle of the season. You get traded middle of the season, it's hard to really produce, learn the offense, get a connection with your teammates. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass there. So we'll see what he does in the offseason and, start a training camp, OTA, stuff like that, preseason. If he's definitely going to be, not a lock to make the roster, I would say competing heavily for a spot. But they got Debo, Terry, and Luke on the roster right now. So you add, KJ Osborne, that's 4. I'm sure they're going to re-sign one more of the guys, Noah Brown, Crowder, Zacchaeus, which will put you at 5, maybe 6. And then I would say they bring in a veteran, which puts you at 6 or 7. And then I would say, you draft a guy. You probably draft a guy, which brings you 7, 8. And then you sign a couple undrafted free agents, maybe 3-ish, 4, which brings you to 10, which seems a lot, but in camp, you're going to need that. So honestly, probably like 11 or 12, and a couple of those because the undrafted free agents, more likely than not, they're going to be cut, but a couple of the non-undrafted free agents could get cut, like a Zacchaeus, probably not Zacchaeus, but like a Crowder potentially if he gets re-signed. Definitely like a KJ Osborne. So just things to monitor there. If the Commanders do bring some of those guys back, they could get released, and depending on if they want to draft a guy as well. They don't have a lot of draft picks, so maybe they don't want to draft a receiver. Maybe it'll just be undrafted free agents. One other receiver I think would be a good option for the Commanders would be Elijah Moore. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about him and, as a free agent, and I think it makes sense. I didn't really think about it until I saw it, but it makes sense. He's a young guy, and he has some talent. And, it would make sense for the Commanders and also make sense for him. Maybe he can have a good year in a really good offense and make some money, and also helps the Commanders fill a receiver spot and get a little bit younger. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.